Dear Diary, I'm excited for this week. I look at the sheet of paper that I have of stuff that I've done, and I'm like, you know what? I accomplished some cool stuff. So let's go through it. Early in the week, I invited my brother out to play pickleball, and it felt so good to hang out with him and see him again. Over the last few months, our relationship is building back up. We used to be roommates for about 2 years, I want to say, and he got a serious girlfriend, and obviously life changes a little bit, and we were establishing the new norm, and it felt like in my heart and in my soul the new norm was not enough time with him, but he was just figuring things out, and we're starting to make more time for each other, and it just felt so good to play pickleball and catch up, because my brother is, and always really has been, like one of my favorite people in the world. So we went to the courts, we played pickleball, it was pretty dope. We're both brand spanking new. Like, we are not good. People approached us and they're like, yo, you want to do doubles? And I always got to tell them, like, dog, you're going to play doubles with beginners because we're not good. And everyone's super friendly, so it's fine. But we played like maybe 3 games together, and we ended up talking for like an hour afterwards, caught up on life. And it's some really exciting stuff is happening in his life, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. It's not my platform to share his life, though, so I don't want to give out any of those details, but I am super excited for him and super excited for what it means for me in my life as well, because dope stuff. But I just want to go on the record and say I think a lot of people are shy, or a lot of people are, I don't want to say forgetful, but just they don't think about inviting people to do stuff. And I see this in my brother, I see this in my roommate, I see this in other friends that I have. A lot of people are scared of the rejection that might happen. And when I say a lot of people, I'm incorporating myself in there too, because I am so, I don't know what it is. I just, even if it's my brother, even if it's like one of my friends that I've been friends with for like years, it still feels bad to be rejected, no matter who it's by. So I think a lot of people, myself included, kind of avoid or take the passive or shy route and not invite people out as much as maybe we should. So this summer, I'm really trying to just do stuff with people. I'm trying to say yes to things. I'm trying to initiate things. And it felt good to initiate with my brother and play some pickleball. And we got another session scheduled for next week. So super hype about that. I actually have a couple pickleball sessions scheduled for next week. So it's good. We're going to rock on and we're going to get good at pickleball. Also, so I'm a runner. If it isn't obvious by now, if you guys have not heard any of the other episodes, I'm a runner. I probably talk about it at least once in each episode. But running is my biggest passion. I do it every day. And I have been doing a run every single day for over a year now. And it crossed that year threshold just last week sometime. I think it was Sunday. So just after I recorded my last episode, I got a full year. And to celebrate, well, people at work were like, yo, you going to have a beer? You going to kick back and relax? And nothing against partying and having a beer. You know, that's whatever anyone else wants to do. That's not my cup of joe, though. I celebrated. I was going to go to where my origin story was. I started running 4.5 years ago, and I used to run along this canal, right? And it's beautiful. It feels so good, so homey, so cozy. And I would run 10 miles one way, come 10 miles back, do a 20-miler, and that's how I would train for a marathon. I would do a bunch of 20-milers. Like, I remember my first marathon, I didn't bonk, and it was such a good feeling because my body was accustomed to that amount of distance. So to celebrate, I was like, yo, I have to do a 20-miler along like where this all started. And I did. I ran 20 miles with a couple friends along the canal, and it was a beautiful, beautiful morning. It was maybe 60 degrees to 65, and then it ended up climbing up close to 80 throughout the 3 hours that we ran, but still, it was fun. We ended up talking about all different, like, athletic events that we're trying to do. We talked about life. We had some good food, and it was a beautiful time and a beautiful just accomplishment for myself, because 1 year of running, that means every single day, rain, snow, sleet, hail, you know, the whole mailman motto, I got up and ran. And it was tough. I wrote a little Substack about it. Maybe I should link my Substack in the description below because you guys are more than welcome to read it. It just goes in depth about like all my running stuff because running is thebomb.com. And I want to establish this streak by having a couple guidelines. Usually I run 6 miles in the morning, but I felt like I could not do that every day because you need a rest day, or like I say rest in quotes, you need an easy day. You're going to get sick sometimes. So I was like, okay, I need to do a bare minimum a mile. And I have ran a bare minimum at least 1 mile for over a year now, and it feels really, really good. So I just wrote a whole Substack about it and all the grit and discipline and stuff I learned. So I don't want to go too in-depth on here because I want to talk about other stuff. But that was fun. And I got a lot more running plans ahead of me. Anyways, moving right along, we have, well, last week I talked about a massive heat wave that hit where it was like 95 plus to 100 degrees for like 3 days. Well, the heat wave is over. Better weather in that situation. But now the smoke is coming down and taking us out one by one. Like, there's been no deaths, at least that I'm aware of, from the smoke. But the smoke and the air quality was terrible where I lived. And I literally wore like I think it's like an N95 mask one day while I worked. Not the whole day because it hurt my ears, but I'm like, I can tell the difference of the quality of air that I'm breathing when I breathe through the mask. Like, it would end up making me cough a little bit. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like it was impossible to work. It was okay, but it was not a great feeling having to work out in that air quality. And so when they supplied us with masks, it was actually really helpful and appreciated. But we have been getting, where I'm at, some poor air quality, and it sucks. And it almost feels like the end times because one day that I worked, it was just like an amber glow the whole day. And it's kind of cool. I mean, it's not good for any of you guys that are up in Canada because you guys are just getting roasted. But for myself down in the United States, one day, a couple days out of the year, it makes for something different. I don't know. I'm trying to find the silver lining in this terrible situation. I'm not saying this is good. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to go on record saying I like wildfires. I'm just trying to look at the silver lining and be like, yo, it's kind of cool when it glows amber. So enough said. I'm moving on. Don't take that out of context. I'm sorry everyone's going through difficult stuff. With that out of the way, I want to talk about the big thing that really made my week. And I know, I said I'm not going to make this a weather channel, and I'm not going to make this a chess documentary type video, but hear me out, okay? Chess is probably my second favorite hobby. It's something I do every day. I have like a 300-something day streak on chess.com for playing games. I like it. I'm kind of obsessed with it. It is what it is. And I go to chess club. So, I went to chess club a couple days ago, and I got paired with this one. He's a teenager, I think. He looks like a young adult, but not a kid. He's like that sweet spot of like 15, 16, 17, I want to say. And he likes chess, and he came to the club, and his rating is in like 500, 600s. And so I got paired with him, and well, 500, 600 is a fair rating. It's nothing crazy. It's not like an incredible standing, but it's not like he's a noob, right? It's not like he doesn't know how to move the pieces. So I went in and I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty confident about this. I think I can beat him. I know on like when I play on chess.com, my ranking can go up to like 1100. So I think I got it, right? Right before we started, the proctor's like, hey, if you're on board 13 or 9, don't start the game because we have people coming from out of town. And I was on board 13. So my matchup got switched around, and I actually got paired with this older dude, and I didn't get to see his rating beforehand. So I was going in blind, not knowing, like, is this guy strong? Is this guy weak? Is he new? I didn't know. So we sit down, we start playing the game. We have 80 minutes apiece, so that's an hour 20 minutes for him, hour 20 minutes for me. And we get down to about, I want to say 15 to 20 minutes apiece, right? Like, we're using a lot of time. Like, we're 2 hours deep into this game. And I didn't really have any expectations of like, yo, I'm going to win this game, or I think I'm cooked. I really didn't because I didn't know his rating, so I didn't know what I was up against. So I blundered maybe like an hour and a half in. I lost exchange, and he ended up getting a knight for a rook. And that was, I knew I was in a worse position. And my stomach started hurting. I'm like, oh, this is a waste of time. I don't want to resign. I got to keep playing on. And I'm so glad I kept playing on. And you always play on. Always play on. All right? Make your opponent work for the checkmate. Because I ended up boxing in his king and his rooks in such a way, I'm not going to be able to explain this correctly in any sort of way. But there's this one move that I did E5 with the king, so KE5, that simultaneously, and I'm sorry I'm going so in depth, but this is such an important part of my week because it made me feel so elated. KE5, I ended up trapping both of his rooks and coming out in exchange and having a knight. So he was down to pawns, I had knight and pawns, and I won the end game, and I won the game. So I beat him. I shook his hands. We were like 2 hours, 20 minutes, 2 hours deep. I don't know. We were a long time into this game, and it felt so good to come on top because the only other game that I've won in Chess Club was the very first week that I went. So it's been a while since I've had a victory. And I was like, okay, bet. It feels great. I went, analyzed the game a little bit. The following day, I went on to chessfide.com to see like who it was that I versed and what his ranking was, and I found him. And his ranking, his ELO was 1497. All right, and I have never, ever been remotely close to beating a 1497 opponent. I've never, ever, I've never even climbed up into 13 or 1400. So to beat someone at that ranking over the board, when I found that out the next day, I was so hyped. Like, I didn't sleep much from the night before because I was so excited about the win. The following day, finding that out just made adrenaline come through, and that's all I could think about. I was just analyzing the game for like the whole day. I ended up playing chess with my roomie for a long time. It felt so good knowing that I have potential. And I know a one-off doesn't mean that's like the new base. I know I could have had a really on fire night, and he could have had a really not on fire night. And we meet down on like his floor, my ceiling, and I played like a 1000 or something. But this just goes to show you that, maybe I got a little more potential in this whole chess thing than what I thought. And it just felt good, and I don't want to knock my own victory. It's awesome. And I came in at 11 o'clock after chess club, and I just came in and was like, let's go. I was so hyped. My roomie's like, dude, it's 11 o'clock. And I'm over here like trying to flip over tables so hype because that's who I am. I'm hyper and obnoxious and really competitive. Because when I lose, I just come home and I'm like, bad game, bro. Not good. I'll talk to you in the morning. Like, it is sad, but you gotta have the good and the bad. And I understand I'm not always gonna win, but this was a very good win that I'm happy with. Moving on, I have a potential date, and I want to emphasize potential because this very well could not work out. We've talked for 2 days. She seems really cool. We potentially could be going to a drive-in theater to see a movie I want to see, and I'm hype about that, but I've never actually gone to a drive-in theater for a first date. Like, do you just watch the movie? Do you talk over the movie? Like, where am I bringing chairs? Are we sitting in the trunk together? I've no cuddling. We don't know each other. So, I don't know. But I like doing new things, so I'm like, this should be cool. But also, we haven't phone called, and I feel like I need to phone call someone to know that they're real. Like, I met this person on Hinge, and anyone can make a fake profile. And I know usually it's like the woman that's more cautious about things, but I just feel like it'd be so weird to meet up with someone that you haven't even talked to on the phone. So, I don't know. It's a big potential. Big potential. Emphasis on potential. Like, we might not hear anything about this next week. So don't even ask in the comment section below about how it went because it's so potential about it. Last but not least, this is it, and then we're done. I know, big week. I'm house sitting now. I've never actually house sitted for someone before. I got to go over there twice a week and water the flowers, and that's it. I know it's kind of weird that that's all they want me to do to house sit, but you know what? They said they'll pay me. They said they appreciate everything. And you know what? Easy money. So I'm out here house sitting for a little bit. And I got this cool house that I just go to twice a week. So I'm excited. That's going to carry on until the end of August. But that's it for the week. So a lot of just good stuff happened. It was a solid week, and I'm excited to see what the next one holds. So see you then.